How the Franks conquered medieval Europe. The rise of the Frankish Empire. Full epic story, documentary script style. Prologue. The shadow of Rome. The year is 476 AD. The eternal city of Rome, once the heart of the world, falls silent. The last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, has been deposed by a barbarian general named Odoacer. The Roman legions that once marched across continents are gone. Roads crumble, cities fade, trade dies. Across Europe, chaos reigns. But in the cold forests and wide rivers of northern Gaul, modern France and western Germany, a new people are stirring. They are the Franks, a confederation of Germanic tribes once dismissed as savages. No one knows it yet, but from these warriors will rise the foundation of medieval Europe. Chapter 1 The Birth of a Kingdom 481 AD. Amid the ruins of the old Roman world stands a young warrior, Clovis, son of Childeric, chief of the Salian Franks. At just 15 years old, he inherits a small, divided tribe. The Roman Empire is gone, but Roman generals still cling to scattered cities. The Visigoths rule the south, the Burgundians the east. Clovis sees opportunity. He rallies his warriors, broad-shouldered men in mail coats, carrying long spears and round shields marked with wild beasts. Greater than the empire of the Romans is dust, he declares. But the land of Gaul, that will be ours. His rise begins with conquest. He defeats rival Frankish kings one by one, first Sigebert, then Ragnachar. He marches through the countryside, taking towns, demanding loyalty. In 486, he meets Syagrius, a Roman commander who rules what's left of Roman Gaul. The two armies meet near Soissons. The battle is fierce, Roman discipline against Frankish ferocity. But when the dust settles, the eagle of Rome lies broken, and the Franks stand victorious. Clovis has done what no one else could, united Romans and Franks under one rule. Chapter 2 The Warrior and the Cross. Despite his victories, Clovis faces new threats. To the east, the Alemanni, fierce Germanic warriors, challenge his borders. At the Battle of Tolbiac, the Franks are nearly defeated. Surrounded, bloodied, and desperate, Clovis remembers the words of his Christian wife, Clotilda. She had urged him to abandon the old gods and trust in the Christian God. In the chaos of battle, Clovis falls to his knees and prays. Greater than, O God of Clotilda, grant me victory, and I will believe in you. Moments later, the tide turns. The Alemanni flee. The Franks triumph. True to his vow, Clovis converts to Christianity, and with him, thousands of his warriors. In the Cathedral of Reims, he is baptized by Bishop Remigius. As the holy water touches his forehead, a new alliance is born, between the Frankish crown and the Roman Church. The Pope in distant Rome hails him as the eldest son of the Church. From this moment, faith becomes a weapon as powerful as the sword. Chapter 3 Blood and Crown. Clovis rules from Paris, the new heart of the Frankish kingdom. But unity is fragile. His empire, though large, is built on loyalty and fear. Rivals still plot against him. He acts with ruthless precision. Allies who waver, he eliminates. Brothers who challenge him, he executes. Greater than, better to rule alone, he says coldly, than share power with traitors. By his death in 511 AD, Clovis controls almost all of Gaul. His kingdom stretches from the Rhine to the Atlantic, the first united realm in post-Roman Europe. But as he dies, he divides his empire among his 4 sons, sowing the seeds of future conflict. Chapter 4 The Age of the Long-Haired Kings. The sons of Clovis inherit not his vision, but his ambition. The Merovingian dynasty, named after Clovis's grandfather Merovec, dominates for 2 centuries. They are called the long-haired kings, their flowing hair a symbol of sacred power. But over time, their glory fades. They fight among themselves, spilling Frankish blood for land and power. The kingdom splits into rival realms, Neustria, Austrasia, and Burgundy. While the kings feast, real power slips into the hands of their chief ministers, the mayors of the palace. Among these mayors rises a new family, the Carolingians. Chapter 5 Charles Martel. The Hammer of God 732 AD. By the early 8th century, danger comes from the south. Muslim armies, having conquered Spain, cross the Pyrenees and invade Gaul. Cities burn, churches fall, people flee. The Franks stand alone. Their leader is Charles Martel, son of Pepin of Herstal, a man of iron will and unmatched military genius. In 732 AD, at the Battle of Tours, Martel faces the invading army of the Umayyads. For a week, the two sides watch each other across the plain. Then, silence shatters. Waves of Arab cavalry thunder forward, their curved swords flashing. The Franks stand firm, shields locked tight. Charles fights in the front ranks, his hammer crushing armor and bone alike. When the dust clears, the invaders retreat. Europe is saved. Charles earns his name, Martel, the Hammer. He has not only preserved Christianity in the West but laid the groundwork for a new empire. Chapter 6 The Coronation of Pepin the Short 751 AD. Charles Martel's son, Pepin the Short, inherits his father's power but not the title of king. The Merovingians still sit on the throne, in name only. Pepin sends a question to the Pope in Rome. Greater than, who should be king, the one who wears the crown or the one who holds the power? The Pope replies, greater than, it is better that he who holds the power should also bear the title of king. In 751, the Pope's envoys anoint Pepin as king of the Franks, ending the Merovingian line. In return, Pepin aids the church. He marches to Italy, defeats the Lombards, and grants their captured lands to the Pope, creating the Papal States. The bond between the Frankish crown and the church becomes unbreakable. Chapter 7 The Rise of Charlemagne 768 to 800 AD. When Pepin dies, his son Charles inherits the throne. The world will know him as Charlemagne, Charles the Great. From his court at Aachen, he dreams of a united Christian Europe. For 40 years, Charlemagne wages war, against the Lombards, the Saxons, the Avars, and the Moors. He expands his kingdom to cover most of Western and Central Europe. But Charlemagne is more than a conqueror. He rebuilds cities, establishes schools, and reforms law. He orders that every monastery must teach reading and writing, planting the seeds of a new age of learning. In his empire, Latin is reborn, knowledge preserved, and order restored. He becomes, in every sense, the new Caesar. Chapter 8 The Emperor of the West 800 AD. On Christmas Day, 800 AD, Charlemagne kneels in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. As he prays, Pope Leo III places a golden crown upon his head and proclaims, greater than, Charles, Augustus, crowned by God, great and peace-bringing Emperor of the Romans. In that moment, the Holy Roman Empire is born, and the dream of Rome lives again. Charlemagne's empire becomes the political and spiritual center of medieval Europe. Under his rule, trade flourishes, scholars thrive, and Christianity spreads. His armies stand as guardians of faith and law. His name inspires awe from the Pyrenees to the Danube. Chapter 9 The Carolingian Renaissance. Charlemagne's court becomes a beacon of learning. He invites scholars like Alcuin of York to preserve ancient texts and teach the next generation. Monks in scriptoria copy works of Aristotle, Cicero, and Augustine, saving them from oblivion. A new script, Carolingian minuscule, makes reading easier, shaping the letters we still use today. For the first time since Rome's fall, Europe rediscovers its intellect. This rebirth, the Carolingian Renaissance, plants the roots of medieval education, law, and culture. Chapter 10 The Breaking of the Empire 814 to 843 AD. Charlemagne dies in 814 AD, mourned by all of Christendom. His son, Louis the Pious, inherits the empire, but peace does not last. Louis's sons, Lothair, Louis the German, and Charles the Bald, turn against each other. Civil war erupts. In 843, the Treaty of Verdun divides the empire. West Francia becomes the foundation of France. East Francia becomes the seat of Germany. Middle Francia splinters into smaller states. Charlemagne's empire is gone, but its spirit remains, in kings, laws, and churches across Europe. Epilogue, the legacy of the Franks. From tribal warriors to emperors, the Franks transformed Europe. They blended Roman order with Germanic courage, Christian faith with royal ambition. They gave Europe its first idea of unity, its first kings of divine right, and its first empire since Rome. Their legacy lives in the languages, borders, and faiths of Europe. France bears their name, Francia, the land of the Franks. The Carolingians' dream of a Christian empire would echo through the Middle Ages, inspiring popes, emperors, and crusaders. And those centuries have passed, the story of the Franks, the warriors who built Europe, remains one of the most powerful tales of transformation in human history.